Hey, boys and girls, it's Mr. Mac. Today we're going to work on lesson 2 of module 3, which is interpreting a remainder. Now, it sounds like a big word, interpret a remainder. All it means is we're going to do a division problem and we're going to get a remainder and we're going to figure out what that remainder actually means, right? So it's not going to be R2. We're going to talk about what the actual 2 represents in our problem. So in this example, says a land surveyor rolls a wheeled device on the ground to measure distances. Each full turn of the wheel measures 14 inches. The surveyor measures 1,617 inches of land. How many turns of the wheel are needed to measure this distance? So we're doing 14, okay, going into 1,617. Okay, so we're going to solve this division problem. 14 can go into 16 one time. Subtract the 14. We get a 2. Bring down the 1 and do it again. 14 can go into 21 one time. Subtract. Okay, this is a 7. Bring down the 7 and do it again. 14 can go into 77. I know this mental math 5 times because 5 times 14 is 70. Okay, so when we subtract, that gives us a 7. So we see our answer as 115 remainder of 7. So we're going to talk about this 7 here, what it means. So the question asked, how many turns of the wheel are needed to measure this distance? So when we get 115 with a remainder of 7, that means 115 full turns are needed to measure that distance. That's the first important thing you need to understand is this whole number in our quotient, which is the answer to a division problem, answers the question of how many full turns. Okay, this remainder is a part of a whole. Okay, so in this example, we could also write this as 115. Okay, and then 7 as my remainder, and then 14 is going to be our denominator here. Where did I get that 14 from? Okay, 14 here tells you how many full inches, how many inches a full wheel rotation is worth. So in this example, the remainder of 7 is telling us we have 7 more inches, but it takes 14 full inches for the wheel to turn completely. So we have 7 of the 14 inches that it takes for the wheel to turn completely. So in this problem down here, they want us to divide and write the whole number as a quotient with the remainder. We did that, okay? And then I write the remainder as the numerator and the divisor as the denominator. We did that. So then it says what fraction of a turn is represented by the remainder. So 7/14 of one full turn is what we're looking for. Okay, so then the next question says write the answer as a whole number of turns and a fractional part. That's what we did right here. Okay, that is full turns and the fraction of the turn. All right. So that's interpreting remainder for this example. I am going to go over another one just because these problems can be a little bit troublesome. So I'm going to slide this over here. Oops, let me just slide this over here and do the work right here. So it says a large plot of farmland will be used for a new field. The seed that the farmers will plant on this field is sold in large tanks. Each tank can cover 72 acres with seed. How many tanks are needed to cover the entire field with seed? Well, we've got right here on this example of 1,140 acres. So that's our dividend. Okay, and then we have our divisor, which is 72. So to figure out 72 can't go into 11. It can go into 114 one time. I'll subtract the 72. 4 minus 2 is 2. 11 minus 7 is 4. Divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down. So this one I may not be able to do as easily mentally, but I'm going to say 6 would be too much because I just know that. So I'm going to try 5. All right. So 5 times 2 is 10. I put down my 0. I carry my 1. 7 times 5 is 35. Plus 1 is 36. Okay, so then I have my 5 went up here. I subtract my 360. All right, and I get a 0, and I get a 6. Now, it looks like I have a huge remainder here. 15 with a remainder of 60. Your remainder is possible to be, it can be huge. It just needs to be smaller than your divisor. So 72 is your divisor. Your remainder has to be smaller than that, because if your remainder is bigger, then you made a mistake in your division somewhere, and it's going to change your answer and everything. So if you get a remainder that's bigger than your divisor, I would go back and check it to make sure that it's not. All right, so now it said, okay, represent it as a division with a, represent the situation using a division problem. We did that here. Part B, it says divide to find the whole number quotient and the remainder. So we got 15 with a remainder of 60. So now when they want us to write it as a fraction, okay, we know that it would be 15 and 60 70-seconds, which seems wild. But again, remember, 60 over 72 really is less than 1, because it's 60 out of 72 total. All right. So now this says, how many acres will the seed from the last tank cover? Okay. So we have 15 tanks here that are full, and then there still is going to be 60 acres out of 72 left that still need to be filled. So the question is, how many acres will the seed from the last tank cover? We're going to have to get another tank to cover 60 acres. And the way I know that 60 represents the acres is because this 72 on the bottom as my divisor is acres. So that's how many full acres can be covered. And we have 60 that we still have to have covered. All right, it's going to take some time to do some practice with this, so make sure you're watching this video multiple times and other videos that will be posted, as well as paying attention to the lesson when it is taught live. All right, best of luck with your lessons today, guys.